Isn't it bliss?
Welcome back. This is Wargamer Sean. I'm going to do part 2 of the Harlequin Codex review. Like I said, I'm pretty excited about this. Actually, really excited. I'm just so happy that they have a Codex again. I mean, this is probably the most excited I've been about a Codex since the last Codex that came out for Harlequins. It's so awesome, and I'm sorry I keep going on about that. You guys are probably sick of it, but it's just awesome. So let's go into the forces, and we're just going to do them all at once because there's not a lot of them here, so we'll just go all in one video, do it. So the most core part of the Harlequin forces is the troop, T-R-O-U-P-E. That's spelled differently for us Americans because troop for us is T-R-O-O-P. I don't know for the people that speak kind of a more true English language like the British and other countries. Maybe that's how it's spelled, T-R-O-U-P-E. That might be. But I think it's kind of more Old English, but maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. Eddie Bear can correct me because he's British, right? Well, I know he is. And I know he'll watch it because he's a good guy and he watches everybody's videos because he's an awesome guy. Anyway, shout out to Eddie Bear. Anyway, so the troop. So the players, it comes with, for 95 points, it comes with 4 players and a troop master. They've done some changes to this. It's now, the players are weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4. They used to be ballistic skill 5. Strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 1, initiative 6, and attacks 2, leadership 9. So they have 2 base attacks, and they come with a shuriken pistol and a close combat weapon, a holo suit, plasma grenades now. So they have plasma grenades standard, which is awesome, because they didn't have grenades before unless you had the Shadow Seer with them. So this is essential. Plus, actually, they don't need it as much anymore because the flip belt pretty much kind of gives them assault grenades because they ignore terrain, so it doesn't. They still go at normal initiative even if they go through terrain. So, which is awesome. So they have 2 base attacks, but they actually come with 3 because of 2 close combat weapons, and on the charge they have 4. That's a lot of attacks. Their weapon skill 5 means they're going to be hitting on 3s for most things in the game, not everything, but most things that aren't elite, they're going to be hitting on 3s. The troop master is weapon skill 6, so he went up, and his ballistic skill 5, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 2. Now he only had 1 wound before, so now he's got 2 wounds, which is cool. He's initiative 7, so he went up in initiative. He's got 3 attacks and a leadership 10. Now in previous incarnations, like from 4th edition kind of on, when they the Harlequins got incorporated into Eldar and Dark Eldar, they had 1 attack base, so they got 2 with their 2 close combat weapons, and then the troop master had 2 base. So they've increased the attacks by 1 for both player and troop master, which is good because they're close combat, and unfortunately close combat in 7th edition isn't really rewarded right now. Even 6th for that matter, but we're in 7th now. Their special rules are Fear, Fleet, Furious Charge, and Hit and Run. Now, Fear is not going to affect everybody. You know, they shall know no fear, demons, you know, fearless things won't matter. But when you're going up against other players like other Eldar or Dark Eldar or Tau, you know, or Necrons, they are going to have to take a fear test, which is a big deal. You know, it can make a difference. You know, Necron's going to be a little hard because they're leadership 10, but they may fail occasionally. They have the fleet's going to help, typical Eldar fleet, which is normal. A furious charge they've always had, and that used to give them +1 to initiative and +1 to strength on the charge. They've increased their initiative, so they're kind of compensating for that because furious charge doesn't give them that anymore. But they are strength 4 on the charge. They have hit and run, which they've had in the last few incarnations, which is helpful. But I would caution people, and I'm not going to go into tactics too much here right now, but I would caution people when you're playing Harlequins if you can survive it, when you go into charge, if you don't kill everybody in that assault phase, hopefully there's just a few left so they're not doing much back to you. I would not hit and run when it goes into the enemy's turn unless you've got that formation where you can jump back into your transports. You don't want them kind of sitting out in the breeze. So I usually tend to hit and run on the opponent's turn after their assault phase. I'll hit and run if there's something left, get out of there so I can shoot that unit, and if I need to, I can go back and charge again. So that's kind of how I use hit and run for most of my armies if I can, and it depends on how good things are going too. You know, Harlequins are a glass cannon. So the Shuriken pistol can be replaced with a Neuro Disruptor for 10 points and a Fusion pistol for 15 points. Now we talked about these in the last review, but it used to be that only 2 models in the troop could take Fusion pistols. Now everybody can take them, and everybody can take Neuro Disruptors. Now that's a big change because before it used to just be Fusion pistols, but Neuro Disruptors are awesome. They're not going to do anything against armor, but man, 10 points, that's pretty awesome. I mean, everybody too. I mean, think of how many shots. That's pretty amazing. So you can get additional, you can get up to 7 additional players, so you can have a squad of 12. And it's 15 points a model. Any model can replace their close combat weapon with Harlequin's Embrace, which is 5 points. And that's the one that does a Strength 6 Hammer of Wrath, D3. Harlequin's Kiss, which is 5 points as well. And we talked about the changes to that. And then Harlequin's Caress, which is 8 points a model. Now, it gets a little pricey, but the Harlequin's Kiss and Harlequin's Caress are pretty nice. The Troop Master can replace his close combat weapon with a Power Sword for 15 points. I honestly don't know why you would do that. I mean, 15 points, I don't know what... I'm not sure what GW was thinking on that. It's a little expensive for a Power Sword. Which is only his strength, which, yeah, Furious Charge is strength 4, it's AP 3. But honestly, for the points, I mean, heck, even the Harlequin's Caress, I'd probably risk hopefully rolling some 6s and just take the Caress or the Kiss. Because honestly, I think they're going to do more, and for the points, be better than the Power Sword. But that's my opinion. The Troop Master can take Haywire Grenades for 5 points, which may be good. And if you've got guys running with them, like a Shadow Seer or multiple Shadow Seers or a Death Jester, they can all take Haywire Grenades. That might be helpful if you assault a vehicle. Although hopefully, we'll see with the rest of the stuff that's here, hopefully you can take enough stuff to destroy vehicles and just deal with the infantry with your guys. So I don't know how great Haywire Grenades are. If you got 5 points, sure. The Troop Master can take 1 item from the Enigmas of the Black Library. Now, we talked about these. He can only take certain ones. And then they can select a Star Weaver for a dedicated transport, which we'll get to. So that's a troop. That's a basic core group. And they kind of want you to take your Warlord as a Troop Master because he gets a lot more benefits to... sorry. Sorry, guys. I think we're going to go on to the next thing. So the next one is the Death Jester. It's an elite choice. The troops were a troop, obviously. The Death Jester is weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 5, strength and toughness 3, wounds 2, initiative 7, and attacks 3, leadership 10. He has a holosuit, a flip belt, and a shrieker cannon. Now, it's interesting to note, he does not have grenades. I don't know why they didn't give him grenades. I mean, I guess his job is not to assault. So if he joins a group, so be it. But it is interesting to note that he does not have one. He doesn't have grenades. Now, he does have the flip belt, so once again, that doesn't matter so much with assault for Harlequins. Now, the Shrieker Cannon we talked about, I'm really excited that it's got the Virotoxin in there again, so you can do a single shot and hope someone's head explodes gloriously and damages nearby guys. I think that potentially has a good use in a squad, especially with low leadership, where if you take a guy out, because you get to make him do a pinning test anyway, but you could take a bunch of guys out, especially anything that's got armor 4 or less, I think it's going to be good because it's going to eat through their armor and it doesn't allow cover saves, so it just kills guys. So things like Tau or Dire Avengers or Orcs, or Necron Warriors. I think it's kind of a cool trick to use that might hurt them. Although you probably want to use it on something that is more likely to fail a leadership test, and Necrons being, leadership 10, even if you bring them down to 8, they're probably still going to pass. Whereas Tau and Orcs have pretty crappy leaderships, so bringing them down by 2 is going to be a big deal. So those are the ones I'd probably use it on, especially like Fire Warriors or Orc Boys or Gretchen. Hell, Gretchen would be awesome, especially he has death is not enough, and he has precision shots. I'm just going to go to precision shots quick. So if you want to do a one shot, and let's say you take out the runt herder and you blow them up and you kill a bunch of grots with it, they're probably going to run because their leadership is crap once you get rid of the runt herder. So now you have to get a 6 when you do a precision shot. So it's a one shot and it's a 1 in 6 chance you're going to get it. But still, orcs are in high leadership anyway. Just a thought. So death is not enough. An enemy that suffers 1 or more casualties from the Death Jester's Shrieker Cannon during the shooting phase must take a morale check at -2 to leadership, even if they don't take 25% casualties. And if the test is failed, the Death Jester's controlling player chooses the direction that they fall back in. That's pretty awesome. So you can force a group out in the open, not falling back, but out in the open. You can have them go towards guys you want them to charge in. I mean, that's a very powerful thing. I don't think people realize. Plus, they don't even have to take 25% casualties. You just have to take 1 wound, and it's going to do this. So the Death Jester is nothing to sneeze at. He's a pretty good character. He does cause fear, just like the other Harlequins. He's fleet, furious charge, hit and run. Independent character. So he's not a character, he's an independent character now. And he's got the precision shots, like I said. He can take Haywire Grenades for 5 points. He can take Enigmas of the Black Library, 1 item. He's restricted on what he can take. He's probably got the most amount of restrictions he can take. So there's not much he can take from there, but he can. He's 60 points. So, not a bad deal. I think he's a good character. I know some people don't like the new model. I like the old model, but I also like this new one. And so I kind of look forward because I've got some of the old ones. I like the idea of having both models because it'll make them look a little different. And I actually modified some of the older ones anyway, so they looked a little different. So I'm a big conversion type guy. So I'll probably convert some of these guys because I'm a geek and I got more than one of them. So I'm sure I won't. I'll maybe leave one the way it is. I do kind of like that there's some shurikens embedded in the Eldar ruins that he's perched on. All right, the next one is the Shadow Seer. Shadow Seer, I can't even say, like, there's so many good things to say about the Shadow Seer now. I mean, they were good before. They were pretty much essential because the Harlequins didn't have grenades without her. But now, even better. 60 points, weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 4. Strength 3, toughness 3, 2 wounds, initiative 7, assault, attacks 3, leadership 10. Now, she's got a holosuit, just like all Harlequins. She's got a hallucinating grenade launcher. Now, that's changed in this edition. The Crenanin is 18-inch range, strength 1, blast, hallucinogenic. So all you have to do, you're probably not going to wound. You may, at strength 1, you might hurt some grots, but even if you don't wound anything, any unit that suffered a hit from this weapon has to take a pinning check roll, and if the test is failed, not only are they pinned, but they suffer a single wound with no armor saves or cover saves allowed. The wound is randomly allocated. So that's good. It's an assault weapon. Now think about this when you look at some of the Enigmas of the Black Library, where the Shadow Seer in particular can take a helm that it does -2 to leadership. So that's going to make it even better if you're within 12 inches of the person you're trying to affect, because it's a 12-inch range. Think about adding this even further with the Armor of Misery from the Dark Eldar Codex, now all of a sudden you've got -4 leadership. And to take it even into a further douchebaggery, add in a Death Jester and shoot at them. Now you're taking a pinning check at -6 because of all three of those things. So pretty cool combinations here. The Shadow Seer comes with a shuriken pistol and a mist stave and a flip belt, along with the other things, the hallucinating grenade launcher and the holosuit. She causes Fear Fleet. She's got Furious Charge. She's got Hit and Run. She's an independent character. She's a Mastery Level 1 Psyker. Now, she can take her powers from Phantasmancy, which is the Harlequin powers. She can take Demonology Sanctic powers and Telepathy. You can make her a Level 2 Psyker, which is 25 points. So she starts out at 60. So she'd be 85 points with that. I think it's worth it, because level 2 is better. And there's some nice charge 2s that are nice. Although level 1 could potentially get a charge 2 off because, you might, because of the new psychic power rules with the dice roll and how many dice you get. But there's a chance you might not. She can replace her shuriken pistol with a Neuro Disruptor, which is 10 points, just like it is for the troops. Probably worth it, may not be. She can take a Haywire Grenades for 5 points. And she can take one items from the Enigmas of the Black Library. Which if you have the point, the -2 leadership one's really good. So the Shadow Seer is good. We're going to go into the psychic powers later, along with the Warlord traits. But the psychic powers are very powerful and very effective. And this is where I think it makes the Shadow Seer shine just amazingly. The next is the Solitaire. Solitaire we saw in our week 1 with the troops. Just an amazing model, 145 points. So it's kind of, people are like, wow, so pricey. But for what it can do, I think pretty good. I think it's a fair price. The Solitaire has a holosuit. Doesn't really matter though, because of the save it's got. Harlequin's Caress and Harlequin's Kiss and a flip belt. He can take Haywire Grenades and Enigmas for the Black Library, so he can take that special Harlequin's Kiss that's got Shred and a few other things. Now, the special rules that he has Blitz, and that one is once per game. At the start of the movement phase, the Solitaire can move in the following manner instead of the normal move. He rolls a d6 equal to the current turn number. The result is a number in inches that the Solitaire can move. When moving in this manner, the Solitaire can move over all other models and terrain as if they were open ground. That cannot move on top of models or impassable terrain. In the assault phase of the turn in which the Solitaire moved in this manner, its attack characteristics are increased to 10. So it normally has 6, which actually is 7 because it's got 2 close combat weapons. Now it's got 10 attacks, which would also be 11 because it's got 2 close combat weapons. And if we charge, we would have 12 because we initiated a charge. So holy cow, 12 attacks. Wow. Holy shit. I mean, I'm sorry, that's amazing. So it's only once per game, but still, you better make sure you get that charge off. That's all I have to say. So we have Deep Strike, special rule. Probably, I don't maybe using it. Excuse me. Eternal Warrior, which is important because we're only toughness 3. So we need something to stop us from dying right away because it'd be a pretty expensive models to get one-shotted by a strength 6 or higher. We cause fear. We're fearless, which is different than the other Harlequins. Fleet, Furious Charge, Hit and Run, Impossible Form, which I believe that's the one that gives us a 3-up. Yeah, so the Solitaire is a 3-up invulnerable save. He has Precision Strikes, so when attacking with weapons, if he rolls a 6 to hit in melee, he gets to allocate the wounds. Now, the cool thing is if you're using the Harlequin's Caress, you get a Strength 6 AP 2 wound automatically. You don't have to roll the wound. So every one of those precision hits, you get to allocate. Now, you can still look out, sir. But where I kind of like to look at it at first, if he's not in a challenge, which a lot of times he probably is going to be in a challenge if there's a character in there. But yes, certainly try to take out the character. But at the same time, it's also nice if he's not in a challenges. If you get a precision strike, is take out the special weapons or the heavy weapons in that group, or a power fist in that group. If it's, you know, like the Blood Angels special squad, the Death Company, they can take multiple special weapons. So take out a power fist or two that's not a character, and they can't look out turrets, so you're taking them out. So I think precision strikes are very awesome. Prismatic Blur, the Solitaire can move up to 12 inches in the movement phase, which is pretty amazing. He's got the Path of Damnation, so he can never join another character, never be joined by another character, and he cannot join a squad. So that's pretty much, he's not going to be joining him. And he's a character, he's not an independent character, but he's pretty much on his own. So I think he's a good character. I think you're going to see him on the board. Now, there's a special rule that if you take him as a warlord, he doesn't get a warlord trait. So I don't think people are going to be taking him as a warlord very often, because you kind of be stupid too. Plus, really, honestly, in my mind, now, not in the lore or in the fluff, but in the game, his job really, in my mind, I look at him kind of like a Wraith Knight. His job is to go out there, and if he's not dead by the end of the game, he's probably doing something wrong, because his job is really to go out there and either deter the armies because they have to deal with him and then not shooting other things, or he's supposed to go out there and kill a bunch of stuff and die gloriously. So I don't really want him as my warlord, because I don't want to give up Slay the Warlord because he died. I want him to go out there and do what he wants to do and be a close combat fiend and not have to worry about getting killed. My warlord, I want to be someone I can protect. And that's not what if you're paying that many points for the Solitaire just to keep him hidden, then I don't think he's really doing what he's supposed to do. And tactically for you, it's probably not a good idea. The next thing is a fast attack choices. We have the Skyweavers. Now, these guys are 100 points, and they come as a unit of 2 Skyweavers. They're the jet bikes. Now, they're a little bit different because there's a rider and a pilot. They have a holosuit, star bolas, mirage launchers, and then the jet bikes. Now, the jet bikes have a 4-up save. Their weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 3, toughness 4 because of jet bikes, 2 wounds, and initiative 6, attacks 3, and leadership 9. So they have 3 attacks on the charge. They have fear, furious charge, and hit and run. You may include up to 4 more Skyweavers for 50 points a model. So if you did a unit of 6, you're paying 300 points. Which seems like, and when I first saw this, I'm like, man, these Skyweavers, I don't think I'm going to be taking them a lot because they're so expensive. But then I kind of kept looking at them. Like, initially I thought a Mirage Launcher's great. Once per game they get to do, like, they get to do a 4-up, and I thought it was a Jink helping their Jink. And I'm like, well, whoop-de-doo, there's so many things that ignore cover, but it's not a Jink, it's actually a 4-up invulnerable save. So it's a big deal. It's Tau can't ignore it, things that ignore cover can't ignore it. Like, or Wave Serpents with their shields. So, any model can replace their Starbola, which is the once per game. It's strength 6, AP 2, 12-inch range, like throwing thing. It's a blast. For 10 points, you can take a Zephyr Glaive. So basically, a base unit's going to be 120 points if they take the Zephyr Glaive. The Zephyr Glaive is AP 3 and strength of the user normally, and then on the charges +1 strength and AP 2. Now, when you think about this, think about this for a second. +1 strength on the charge, so your strength 4. Plus, you get Furious Charge, so your strength 5 with AP 2. That's going to kill some things with 3 attacks, 4 on the charge. Even a unit of 2, it's 8 attacks. Your weapon skill 5, so most of the time you're hitting on 3s. You're probably going to be wounding on 3s or 2s, depending on what toughness you hit. You're going to kill some things, especially AP 2. You're probably going to even kill Terminators, unless I would not send these guys into a group of Terminator, like Thunderhammer Storm Shields, because there's a good chance they're going to pass a lot of their saves with 3-up saves. But I think it's situational. You can take out squads with these guys. And I think this is where I'm having a little hard time deciding how... I'm going to definitely run these guys, and I think they're good, and I think they're worthwhile. This is where I have a little bit of a hard time of knowing what to use them for, because the Skyweaver jet bikes come with a shuriken cannon, which is awesome. Strength 6 Blade Storm. But for 5 points, they can get Haywire Cannons. I don't like Blast, but Haywire Cannons, something that can take out, armor or dreadnoughts. But here's the hard thing is, their job is to kind of shoot and assault. And the problem is, if you're using the Haywire Cannon, you're probably shooting something that you're not going to probably be able to assault. Now, here's the thing. Here's a situation. You can shoot something with the Haywire, hopefully destroy the vehicle, and then assault the juicy targets inside. So I see its use, and I think kind of with the guys, especially if I run a lot of neuro disruptors and not fusion pistols, which just 6-inch range, 3-inch like double tap is pretty harsh when something explodes. I don't see myself using the fusion pistols as much. The Haywire Cannon I think is going to be very tempting, but that's going to make each model 65 points. But I still think worth it. So I think the Skyweavers are worth it. They're expensive and people were complaining about them, but for 2 wound models, yes, they can be doubled out because they're toughness 4. I still think they're worth it. Yes, it sucks they're only 4 up save, but it's kind of halfway between the Dark Eldar and the Eldar. The only thing I wish they did have for their points, because they're expensive, is I wish they had Skilled Rider, which would have helped their Jinx save. Their Jinx save, if they would have gone flat out, would have been a 3 up, and they would have ignored Dangerous Terrain. But their Holosuit helps do that anyway because they ignore Dangerous Terrain. So I guess they kind of have... I guess that's why they thought they didn't have to give them Skilled Rider, as the Holosuit kind of ignores it. Let me just... I think it does. Let me just... Oh no, it just grants them a 5-up invulnerable save. So... Oh, that's a flip belt. Sorry, that's a flip belt. They don't have flip belts. So yes, they don't ignore Dangerous Terrain. They do have to take Dangerous Terrain checks. So sorry, I'm wrong about that. So I wish they would have had Skilled Rider. That would have been helpful. My opinion. Starweavers. These are fast attack. They're the designated transports for the Harlequins. I was kind of hoping for something that could hold 12 guys, but this one holds 6, which is better than the Venom. It's a little bigger than the Venom. 70 points. Bliss skill 4. Front, side, and rear armor 10, and 2 hull points. It's a fast skimmer open top transport. Open top is going to be a little dangerous because flame weapons can flame into open top vehicles now. So remember that. And with a 5-up invulnerable save to Harlequins, a lot are going to die if they get flamed. I mean, I'm just telling you, those are expensive units that are just going to die. Now it has 2 shuriken cannons, holofields, and a mirage launcher. So holofields give a 5-up invuln save, unless it's immobilized, and then it's gone. So that's a little different than the Venom. And it causes fear. Why a vehicle causes fear, I don't know, but I'll take it. Fear's nice. So these are decent transports, and if you don't want to take the bikes, since the Harlequin attachment, you have to take 2 fast attacks, you can use these as fast attack choices instead of designated transports, and you can fill your slots. So I think we're going to see the Starweavers. I think they're good. Once again, Glass Hammer. The Void Weaver is 75 points, so 5 more points than the Starweaver. And at first when the Starweaver, I was like, man, it seems so Skyweaver, it seems so expensive. Sorry, Starweaver seems so expensive. But when you look at a Venom, most people pay for the extra Splinter Cannon, so that's 65 points. So for 5 points more, you got shuriken cannons, you got a mirage launcher, and you get a 1 more model capacity. I think it's worth the 5 points. So I know people are complaining, oh, it's so expensive for a transport. But look at Venoms. They're not that much more than a Venom, and you get a little bit more for them. And they cause fear too, which is a little bit of an added bonus, not that great. So I think it's fair when you actually look at it. At first I was kind of pissed too. I'm like, oh, it's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. But look at a Venom and think about it, because I think the Venoms are awesome. I mean, one of my lists I run has 7 Venoms in it. They're awesome. You can complain about them all you want, but they're great. So Void Weavers, Bliss skill 4, front side and rear armor 10, 2 hull points. They've got a Haywire cannon and 2 shuriken cannons, but 1 shuriken cannon faces forward, 1 faces a rear arc. The rear arc one can shoot at a different target, but it's a rear arc only. It has holofields and mirage launchers, and it causes fear, just like the other vehicles, just like everything Harlequin. You can include up to 2 additional Void Weavers in a squadron, so you can have 3 in 1 unit, which is good because you can only take 1 heavy support unit. The Haywire cannon can be replaced with a prismatic cannon for 5 points. I'm really struggling with this one. I like something that can take out vehicles kind of guaranteed, which is 2 up, it's going to do a hull point too. The prismatic cannon has a lot of options, can do a lot of things to troops, infantry, Space Marines with a small blast, and the Prism Lance, which is strength 7 AP 2. So it's a tough choice, and 80 points I think is fair, and 75 points is fair for either one. So that's a tough choice. I mean, and I think this is actually going to be, yes, it's killable. But remember, instead of using a Jink one turn, you get to use the Mirage Launchers, which allows you to shoot normal next turn. You don't have to Jink and Snap Fire. You know, I think people are going to use this. I like the Void Weaver. I think it's good. I'm probably going to magnetize mine so I can switch out the Haywire and the Prismatic Cannons, because honestly, they're both good. At first I thought it's going to be Prismatic Cannon hands down. I think when I even did the first review for my White Dwarf review. But honestly, now looking at it, especially since there's so many Lords of War, Imperial Knights, those Prismatic Cannons aren't going to probably do much reliably, whereas the Haywire Cannons are reliably going to do a hull point, which is important. Excuse me, I've kind of changed my mind. I like Scourges a lot, although recently I haven't been playing them for team tournament. They don't always work so well. But I was always big on the Dark Lances, and I still like, the Heat Lances, and I still like Heat Lances. They're a little bit different, but the Haywire, blasters on Scourges, I've changed my mind on. I do like them a lot too, and they have a longer range, a little bit longer. Instead of 18, they have 24. So I kind of changed my mind on them, and so I think with the Void Weavers, I've been rethinking the Haywire cannons. And the same thing with the bikes, the Sky Weavers. So it's a tough choice. I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit, and I'm probably going to end up magnetizing both the Jet Bikes and the Void Weaver to kind of incorporate both weapons, because I think I might be using both. So that's the squads. Those are the units that can make up your Harlequin forces. The next video we're going to do psychic powers and warlord traits, and then kind of do an overall talk on tactics and feelings, stuff like that. So I'll catch you next time. Hopefully you're enjoying these Harlequin tactics. I am so thrilled, and I'm so excited. If you have questions, please ask them, and please send a message, or if you want to see something, like I said, you can leave a message here. You can Facebook me at WargamerSean on Facebook, or you can email me at wargamersean@yahoo.com. Keep on wargaming, and
don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move.
Goodbye. 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 Bye-bye. Goodbye. See ya. Bye for now. Bye for now. Goodbye. I like bottoms.